Hey, what's going on, everybody? Navid is here, and I'm here together with Ryan Levesque. He's the CEO of the Ask Method company and the #1 best-selling author of the book Ask, and his new one, which we are going to talk about now, Choose. And that's kind of the book. I just actually got it very recently, the single most important decision before starting your business. And I'm really excited. I'm kind of reading it right now, going into this, and I'm really kind of wanting to pick Ryan's brain a little bit on what you can expect when you get this book and what are some key takeaways you get with this book, because that's such an important piece, Ryan put out there. He had to Ask before, but this is actually the prequel to Ask, to have this Choose book, so you actually know exactly what business start in the first place. So Ryan, why did you write this book in the first place? I mean, this kind of sounds like this should have even come before Ask, but you put out Ask first. That's kind of what you're most well known for, I guess, the Ask method and all this kind of stuff. And now the Choose came out recently, so talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the reality is interesting, right? So when Ask came out, that came out almost 5 years ago. The book was almost written 5 years ago. And Ask is a book that reveals the marketing methodology to figure out what people want to buy in any market. And I shared how we used it to enter 23 different niche markets. And what I found, when you write a book like that, it sold hundreds of thousands of copies. It was Inc. Magazine's #1 marketing book of the year, Entrepreneur Magazine's #2 must-read book for entrepreneurs. When you write a book like that, you get a lot of people who reach out and say, oh my gosh, the book transformed my life. But you also get people who reach out and say, Ryan, I read the book, I followed what you teach, and it didn't work for me. And we get messages like that. It kind of leads you to wonder, well, what did I miss? Like, where did I go wrong? And when I started doing it, kind of kicked off what ended up becoming a 3-year research project to really understand why there's some people like Jamal who read the book, was making $17 an hour and built a $500,000 a year business, or Charlie who was making $10,000 a month and grew his business to $2.2 million a year. So for every story like that, I'd heard from somebody who said, I tried it and it didn't work. And all roads kept pointing back to the same thing. It came down to the fact that people were choosing bad markets. And there's this metaphor that I use in the book Choose. It's kind of like this. It's like when it comes to starting a business, it's like tossing your raft in a river. You can have the best raft money can buy. You can have the best crew in that raft with you. You can row 18 hours a day. But if that raft is pointed in the wrong direction, or worse yet, that raft is in a river that doesn't have any water in it, you're never going to get to your destination. And what I found was that people were tossing their rafts in bad rivers. And so in Ask, I revealed how we were successful in 23 markets, but what I didn't teach was why and how we chose those 23 markets in the first place. And that's what this book is all about. It's all about how to make the single most important decision before you start your business, which is it's not even what business to start, it's who. Who should you serve? What market should you go into? And it answers the question that I've been wondering about for years and finally provides an answer to, which is, what's the difference between a good market and a bad market? Like, it's easy for us to say, choose a good market. But what does that actually mean? Like, what does it mean to choose a good market? And the research that we went into over the last 3 years has uncovered that there are 7 factors. 7 specific factors that you're looking for to choose a good market. And the good part about that is that there are 7 tests. 7 tests that you can perform yourself to identify if the market and business idea you're thinking about pursuing is a green light, a yellow light, or a red light. And in this book, I walk you through each of those 7 tests so you can make that decision with clarity and confidence and choose the right market for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just kind of, as I said in the intro, I started to go over it. You have the 3 different stages there, and kind of you breaking down exactly kind of what people should do. I mean, that's really important. I know you talked even about, you had some bonuses that you got when you bought the book as well, where you talked about some niches that you would go into if you had the time today. So maybe you can share 2 or 3 of those. If you had the bandwidth to just go into any market, what would you choose, Ryan, today?
It's one of the questions that people ask me all the time. They say, gosh, 7 tests. Like, what are examples of niches that pass this test? So one of the niches that I talk about. So I talk about some of our most successful businesses, right? I talk about, like the orchid care market, the beekeeping market. I talk about the memory improvement market. I talk about leadership skills. I talk about some of our most successful markets and how they differed from some of the businesses that we pursued that were failures. I also talk about some of the markets that my students and clients went into and the factors that separated the ones that were most successful from the ones that were not as successful. So one of the factors that I talk about is something I call the market sweet spot test. So it's a big question I get all the time is what size market should I go into? And how do you know if my market's too big or too small? Should I niche up? Should I niche down? And I was curious to the answer to this question as well. And so we analyzed every single one of the markets that we've gone into over the last decade. I analyzed every single one of my most successful students and clients' markets. And what we found is that there's a sweet spot. There's a very narrow market size that every single one of the home runs, every single one of the most successful markets all fit within this very narrow band. And I teach you in the book how to uncover what this band is and how to make sure that you have a market that's in this sweet spot. And so ask a question. You said, what's an example? So in the book, I have a list of niches that fit this definition. And one of them is newborn photography. So newborn photography is an example of a niche that checks off all the boxes. It's a niche that passes every single one of the 7 tests that I show you how to perform when it comes to evaluating your niche. But that's an example of a niche that if I had the time right now, if I wasn't so busy, helping other entrepreneurs with this book and my other book and our courses and everything that we do, that's an example of a niche that I would be pursuing right here, right now, this year.
That's amazing, because I actually talked to my girlfriend about this because we kind of checked out this, and I was like, what about a newborn photography summit? I mean, that would be a great way to kind of get into this, right? You can even use the Ask Method with this. I mean, I have never been. That's also what we look at for kind of summits as well, just kind of, seeing, how this can work together a little bit, because honestly, there's, a lot of competition in some markets. I mean, could be good, to have that. But again, like when you see for some different marketing channels, like doing a summit in that industry, that will work pretty well. And you can kind of combine that as well with the Ask Method, because it's never been done before. I mean, I've researched it. I was like searching for has it been done a summit in the newborn photography niche? And although I'm not probably gonna pursue that myself now, it definitely could be something for our students in my world to do something like this, because it can work incredibly well there. So highly recommend you guys check out the book. Go to navid.me/choose, and you can go in there. It has some great bonuses, I think. I don't know. Is there anything else people should know about this, Ryan?
I want to speak to 2 of the bonuses. I want to speak to 2 of the bonuses real quick for your audience, because I think you and I were talking before this. Wanted to do something super special for your audience.
Yeah.
So 2 things. Number 1. So for anybody who, if you're the type of person that likes to listen to stuff as opposed to reading it, we made the decision. I'm just going to hook you up with the audiobook for free. Like when you take advantage of this special offer that we put together. So instead of having to buy the audiobook separately, I'm just gonna gift it to you for free. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I have a list of 25 niches that I would be going into right here, right now, this year, if I had the time. So newborn photography is one of them, but I've got 24 more. And that's something that's not included in the book. And you asked the question. And so as a bonus, I'm just gonna gift you my personal list. These are niches that pass all 7 tests that are outlined in the book. And you can use these as either inspiration or heck, just go into one of these markets. They've already passed all the tests. And I've got a whole bunch of other cool bonuses as well. So I just wanted to mention those things. Something special for you, man. I'm really grateful for everything that you've done to share my work with the world. And it's just one way that I can give back to you and to your students.
Awesome. I didn't even know you would offer this here, but how do they claim the bonuses when they buy the book? That's kind of another thing people might ask.
So if you just go to that special link that we set up, I think it's navid.me/choose. If you go to that link, it's going to redirect to a special page. You got to use that link. That's the key. It's not a public offer. If you go to, you can buy the book on Amazon. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble. It's $24.99 full price in the United States. It's, I think, $33.99 in Canada and other places in the world. It's a hardcover book. You can get it anywhere books are sold. But if you go to that special link that Navid sent, you get not only the special offer for the book, but you get all these extra bonuses for free. So it's navid.me/choose.
Awesome, Ryan. Thanks so much for sharing. And everyone, go check that out for sure. It's an amazing book, especially if you're going to start a business or start a new business. That's kind of what they have here. I just got it going through this. My girlfriend is also going through this because she's actually starting something as well with kind of a summit. But this one helps even more to figure out kind of the market you're going to go into. So, which is amazing. So I've been recommending this to all my students, even though we teach to some extent about this in some of my programs. I think it's really important. This is like so in depth. It's like, I mean, how many pages? Like 150 pages, something like that. I mean, you can't really put a price to that, honestly. It's like so valuable to have this information, and also you get the audiobook. So if you're more of a listener, you'll get that as well, and you get the kind of the cheat with niche ideas as well from Ryan. So thanks so much for coming on here. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Ciao for now. Bye.